Hi everybody, it's Erin, and tonight we're going to talk about doing some piriformis stretching for our self-treatment. The piriformis is one of our hip rotators and sits back kind of in our butt, between the sacrum and the femur, the thigh bone, and will rotate our hip for us. When we are tight in the piriformis, it can contribute to issues with back pain, certainly with sciatica, which is one of the more common things that we'll give piriformis stretching for. So sciatica is any kind of impingement of the sciatic nerve anywhere along the nerve root from your back where it originates all the way to the back of your foot. So most of the sciatic symptoms would happen in the back of your leg. So the piriformis stretching is good. You can do it throughout the day. I'll give you 3 different ways you can stretch the piriformis to help yourself feel a little bit better. So kind of the more classic and traditional piriformis stretch, you're going to come onto your back. I'm going to be stretching this hip for demonstration purposes. Okay? You're going to bend both knees, cross the affected leg over the knee like you're making a 4. Okay? You can start with this leg actually quite straight out, extended, because you really only want to slide up until you start to feel the stretch in the back of the hip here. You'll notice that if your knee is more up or down, you'll feel it in different places. Different people will have different abilities and ranges of motion. So if you have to start up here, it's okay. I'm a little bit more limber so I can bring my knee out. But you only want to slide your heel up until you really start to feel it back here. For a lot of people who are really tight, they may feel that right here. Okay. For people who are very limber, they can bring their leg up towards their chest and feel a more intense stretch. But just with every kind of fascial stretching, we're not trying to feel the most intense stretch. We're only going to where we first feel it and then holding for several minutes until we don't feel it anymore. To kind of, there's oftentimes kind of this jump between here and here. Like this isn't enough, but this is too intense. So I teach people to take a couple yoga blocks or books or, you know, anything that they have, a little stool. And you can put that stool right under this foot and rest. So that way it's a little bit easier for you to maintain this position. If you're getting to this, you know, where your leg is up and you're more intensely stretching and it's hard to hold, you can always use these hands at the back of your leg so you can relax into it a little bit more. Or a yoga belt or a towel or a sheet or something to hold your leg in place here. So that is option 1. Option 2 is great, especially if you have kids and you're on the floor a lot. So you kind of sit in tailor sitting or crisscross applesauce, as most kids will tell you. Okay, and you're going to bring this time. I'm going to stretch this side just for balance purposes. You bring this foot over, as you can see. Okay. Now, I kind of just support my knee here. I'm not really holding it very tightly, but just supporting my knee. And from here, I want you to think about lengthening upwards with your spine. And as you do that, you're going to feel the stretch through your hip. Again, you only want to come to where you first feel it. So you may be a little more slouched in this position at first until you get used to it. And then you can come up a little higher. And so this is great, you know, if the kids are on the floor, you can be playing on the floor with them and still doing your stretching, and it's not as big of a timeout during your day. Okay. The third option is great for people who are working at a desk during the day. I'm hoping you can see me here. My head might be a little bit cut off, but so anytime you're in a workstation position, you really want to try and be at a 90-degree angle at your hips, your knees, and your ankles to be at the most ideal sitting position. So we'll talk about that maybe at another time. But once you're in this position, if you're sitting at your desk and need to stretch your piriformis, you can always cross one leg over. Again, you might be more up like this than like this at first, but I have better mobility, so I'll be here. Okay. Again, you can start in a little more slouched position and then elongate your spine upwards until you just barely feel a stretch in the back of your hip here. And then you'll just hold that for as long as it's comfortable and tolerable. and you're waiting for releases. So those are 3 different options to stretch the piriformis. Whatever works for you is best, and have fun doing it.